Hello everyone. Hi Rossy, nice to see you. It's really nice to have you here in this episode before Christmas, before everyone goes on holiday break. We decided to record one little session with Rossy. She's a friend of mine and a colleague. I know her for about 2 years, I believe. When I was doing the masters in Sweden, Masters of Strategic Leadership towards Sustainability, and we had a short call because you were interested to doing that master at that time. And I remember from what I knew about you at that point is that you were working WWF, which stands for, what does it stand for?
World Wildlife Fund at
Fund.
last.
The
World
Yes.
Wildlife Fund.
And I know that you were doing something with marketing and communication. So this is what I knew at that point. But now, knowing you for these about 2 years, and lately we've been meeting more and more and more. What I also know about you is that you're a very intersectional character, including a wait, what was the word? Like a teacher for, but it's not Pilates, it's not yoga.
It's aerobics in
Aerobics, yeah, and I know that you've lived also in Brazil, which I find incredible. So, welcome to this podcast about systems change, and please fill me up. How would you describe yourself to people? What else did I miss? How come you ended up working in systems change? What brought you here? What's your story?
Mm. Well, hello again. Um, yeah, thanks for the introduction. I think the main point or the main thing that combines all the things that you've said, like these are what you shared about me working in nature conservation organization, doing marketing, taking the masters in strategic leadership towards sustainability, also as one of the elements that is part of my description. All of that are things that lead to one specific thing. I think my interest in the development of the individual as a leverage point through which we can change systems. Um, of course, there are many ways that a system can be either changed or just influenced, but I think where I'm very interested is how can we do that from within and being the one point, the one touch point in that system, and then how being us and being a leverage point, we connect with the other people and other human beings, and then it becomes more collective effort or change, or depending on the context of the system. So
Mhm.
I think the biggest addition to what you described about me is my very deep interest and practice in self development, inner development, individual development, and I think that on one level, I am very interested in really self development as inner work, but I'm also very interested in what we do with our bodies to kind of manifest that and to put into practice all that we know about ourselves. So this what's within and then how it looks into practice, also through movement. All of that is the description, the missing point that you did not mention.
Yeah, this is what I was thinking as well about your interest in embodiment and in movement. I'm reading now one book from Daria Halprin, I think her name is, that her mother was like a pioneer in this work of dance as healing, and she was saying how we move our bodies like it's like the surface is like again the iceberg. So the movement of the body is just what is visible from so much more that's happening in our psyche or in our spiritual. And yeah, I really love looking at dance and movement as more a systemic. Again, it's an entry point into changing the system, but from how we move into the world, really, literally. But how did you end up in personal development? I never asked you this. How did you? Yeah, I don't know about this.
Honestly, I think Hmm. Of course, I don't know. My journey, I would say my journey started. I mean, I've always asked many questions. Even as a child, I'll be like, why this is like that? Why that is like that? So, always been curious about how things work. And I think along the way, at some point, I had life experiences where I realized how important my influence or my presence, the way I am in a situation, influences. And it was my daughter, my child, so very close, super uh, tender and fragile person who is my daughter, because the relationship with parents and with partners and so on, there you're a little bit more on equal basis. But with your kid, they're so innocent, and I like they copy everything, and they're like sponges, like copy and absorb all that they see from their parents. So I think somewhere there, when my daughter was younger, I was able, not able, but I was in a situation when I had this huge for me realization at the time. Oh, I need to, like, I want to be better. I want to be, I want to be the cool mom. I want to be the guide of this kid, not someone who tells them what to do, but kind of support function in a way. I mean, I can talk more about uh, parenthood for me, but I think this was my first conscious moment when I realized how important for me is the work that I do with myself. And then that was, I don't know, more than 20, let's say 20-ish years ago. I don't want to say that, but and then from then on, I think my whole journey as an individual has been little by little gaining more and more experience, more and more knowledge, more and more practice, and kind of integrating and weaving it into all the work that I do. And I think when I went to MSLS last year, starting to work on leadership in complexity, leading in complexity, this full year course that we had that was very much focused on the individual as a leverage point in systems change, that for me was mind blowing, because I was like, oh, there is even science behind my life, like some as if someone took my experience and put it into a framework and kind of named things that some of them I would name them with the same terminology, some not, but the approach that we use there, the practical approach, and then the theoretical input into this practical approach, for me was like, of course, that's how we have to do it. So I think it kind of gave the silver lining of my personal experience and my curiosity in self development. So that's how I got interested. I don't know. I think I'm curious also. I'm just curious, and that's one of the things
Mm.
I'm curious about.
I think this is definitely something we share in common, this passion about personal development. And I actually seen throughout my own journey, I've seen many people that come to do personal development, not many, but some, because of their children, because they know that the impact that they'll have is like the stakes become so high that, yeah, if you don't work on yourself, let's say you're hurting you, okay, maybe you hurt other people around you, but when it's your own child, then it's like the motivation is so high that you work on yourself. So I think this is really cool because there are many people also who don't realize this and keep on repeating their patterns or traumas or whatever. Um, but also, what I wanted to talk about is okay, so knowing what you know, having this mindset, having found this group of people that you found in MSLS and throughout your life, what is the one change you would like to see in the world based on everything that you know? If you could dream.
Mm. Well, I really think that if we all manage to, like, imagine the whole world, we become so self-aware that we actually realize that the way the world is structured today, with driving force of money and power, switches to it's actually all about love and all about care and relationship. that would be like the biggest change that I would see. Like this is really, if I can dream about something, that's my dream. That the whole world realizes that the driver is actually love and relationship rather than power and money.
Yeah. No, I agree again. Even before we met now, I pulled a tarot card, and the tarot card I got was love. So I was wondering, maybe it's because this is what the conversation will be about. But in the context of the poly crisis and all these, yeah, all the intertwined issues, symptoms that we're seeing, I do agree that the bigger problem is not climate change, but greed and pursuing money and power at the expense of other people. And this is, I think, very visible in our everyday life. Like recently, I was a volunteer for this TEDx on climate change. And everyone supposedly in the room is like, "Oh, we're so enlightened and aware of climate change," but simply being, because I was had a stand and I was behind on the table, and you feel like when someone is at service for you, they become invisible. For these people, it was like the moment we were behind the table, we were just something to be consumed, something to be, this extractivist mentality. And I think, as opposition to what you're saying, it's not only about, yes, it's about love, but how love shows up is in this relationality that you see. You switch from subject to object, in which we're looking down upon us, objectifying even people, transactional relationships, etc., to move to the subject to subject. I think that is going to be really great if we can achieve that, and that's a proper transformation.
Yeah.
Okay, and then knowing that this is the change you want to see in the world, what are you doing about it? Like how, yeah, you know where I'm going.
Thank you for the question.
Yeah.
Well, I think you kind of touched upon that, and this shift. For me, the shift is also um, from what we think and what we know and what we have as knowledge, like in our heads and sometimes in our hearts, to doing it.
Mm,
I I think it, like for me, it's very very important to do. Um, or at least try to embody what your thoughts are, because if you don't, it's just a little bit, like a cloud around here and nothing is happening, because actions, like we live in the practical world, and actions are the actions are actually showing up who we are, how we think, and so on. Having said that, the one thing we are just starting is a practice space called the Inner Leadership Gym, which is a form of personal development practice for all of us, actually carrying out the complex and urgent and responsible work for the world, and a place where we can practice and stretch and practice our resilience, resource ourselves to show up in this world and carry out this world work, and yeah, really practicing it in a safe space, like practice different ways of how we resource ourselves, what we know, but then how we actually put it into action, and then with that resourced self, keep on going out there where our work is positioned, and be more resilient and be more present and be more acting from your inner alignment, from your heart. So it's, yeah, that's what I try to do, actually share my knowledge and share my experience with other people in a format that I hope will empower them or motivate them or give them the kind of the confidence and the friendship support to build up their own selves and more, and
mm,
and be more resilient in the world out there.
mm. Yeah, I mean, we are starting this together, so there must be alignment on this one. And I think this is yeah, what stayed with me, because we've already run a few sessions. First, we did some co-creation with other people that are in our network, and are involved in learning and development, design, for example. Then we run a few sessions with people as a teaser. And what stayed with me is really this operational space, that when we change the space from which we operate, then the whole intervention changes, whatever that means. And we actually experienced this ourselves, which was crazy, because the difference between operating from a place of hurry or a lack of and of a
Mm.
need, something like this creates a different outcome than if you are resourced. And so I guess the medicine that we're offering is actually we're testing it first on ourselves, and I think that's really great. But in your own life, how do you think this medicine has played? What were the challenges that you had to overcome to come to these conclusions that you have now? Because
Mm.
yeah, i don't I don't assume you were always thinking like this or embodying this so easily.
Yeah. Uh, hmm. Well, I don't think I will ever fully embody that because it's a lifelong learning, and I think it's been quite a journey for me, as I said. Um, one thing that I recently and more kind of realize and act from it is that nothing is constant. As we know, the only constant thing is change. And I truly see that in myself because I've seen myself sometimes in moments that I'm like, oh yeah, I know that I can do that. I can do I have been doing 10 push-ups before, and then I try to do it and I realize, oh, I can only do one at this moment because I haven't been practicing push-ups for a year, let's say. And it's the same thing for me with the inner work. You know it, you have the muscle memory, let's say, but then you haven't practiced it, and sometimes you get out of balance because you haven't practiced it, let's say. And then two things happen. On one hand, you know that you've been doing that before. So as I said, this type of muscle memory, or your your brain or your heart, I'm not sure how to express that, but your body and mind, they remember that they can cope with such a situation. So it gives you a slight relaxation. And then the other thing is that you have the awareness that this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
So the practice is on many levels. You can practice something particular at the moment. Like, for example, at MSLS, at some point, I practiced sleeping because, of course, like everybody sleeps, and this is so basic. Out of all the intrapersonal capacities one can work on, very deep one, relationships with other people and so on, I end up practicing sleeping because I literally forgot how important that is to me. And then over time, I realized, "Oh, maybe I need to sleep a little bit more so I have the power to do all the fun and interesting things and that I'm there for." I hope I'm answering your question in the sense that for me, it's the practice and the awareness and kind of that level of extra confidence that you've been there. You're not there right now, but you know that you can bear with that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of, yeah, it's widening your resilience capacity
Mm-hmm.
in this way.
Yeah, I like this what you're saying, that yeah, you in the past maybe you were able to do 10 push-ups, but if you're not practicing, then you can only do one. And it's the same with triggers. Like if you have not slept, you have not eaten, yeah, chances are you'll get triggered, even if you've done all 20 years of personal development work and I don't know, therapy, etc. That it's nothing is stable, nothing is constant in that sense. And sleeping is really fundamental. Like it's so mm,
Underrated.
appreciate it. Yeah, we take it for granted, like, oh, everyone sleeps, whatever. Or it's even some people may think about it as a waste of time because you're not productive, because yeah, in the current culture we're so focused on what is above the iceberg, what is productive, what is bringing you money or whatever, fame, something that's visible and tangible. While I think the most important work is actually the one beneath, on creating the conditions so that you can be effective in the work.
Exactly.
And I think that's where our inner leadership gym stands for. But also because it's the end of the year, I'm curious, what is the reflection that you're taking from your practice throughout this year? You graduated this year MSLS. It was a crazy year for you, I can imagine. But how do you evaluate your practice this year as a reflection?
I think one very big thing that I practiced this year was acceptance and kindness to myself. I mean, that's the inevitably the result is that I am more accepting and more kind to the people around me. Because for me it was really a difficult year, like difficult and very fulfilling year, but with so many things. So even if it was only fun, the amount was so much that one need to yeah to find the resource and power for all of that. And it wasn't only fun. So I think if I relate it to my practice, it has been a huge amount of accepting and being kind to myself and giving myself time. So maybe a bit of like sprinkle of patience on top of these two. This has been very steady work
Mm,
all over the year, and
mm,
especially from July, like the second part in very big amount.
mm.
Yeah,
But also, what I'm hearing or imagining somehow and coming to my head is integration. That the value of integration, that after such a huge experience, and even if you have a lot of joy, etc., you need time to integrate all of these new skills. And I think that can maybe come across as more down period, but it's actually just as important as the up period, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And to be honest, for me, this acceptance looks like really giving the space. So, like enlarging yourself in this way, accepting, like making space for all of you to exist there, and not, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I don't like you, like I don't like this part of you, but
Mm,
really giving the space for all of you to exist. And I'm being kind to that you, so that you can do the integration, so that you can orient yourself which way you're going,
mm.
who's there around you, and so on and so on. So
Yeah, holding yourself tenderly somehow.
yeah,
All
yeah.
of you. Yeah.
And that's only possible if you do the work. Like because I have been surrounded by family and friends, and everybody was so happy to have me back. Or when we were parting with the colleagues from the master's degree program, everybody was like, we were all sad about separating and so on. So there was so much laugh and tension. But then it's your job to. It's not even your job. You're the only person who can allow for that to be a positive contribution to your existence at the moment.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of next year, what are you looking forward to have, and what resources do you need to keep on going and to keep on doing that work? What do you think? If you could wish for anything.
Mm. I think now I'm so excited about launching the inner leadership gym that I wish I have the opportunity. That's external, but I have the opportunity to practice it. And I'm very curious to learn from this experience. I'm so eager to learn from this experience. So I think I would wish to have the kind of the calmness and persistence to carry that forward, because I have the energy, the explosive element. I have it. Like I'm super excited, but then
Mm,
I wish I had the grounding energy that allows me to actually carry it through the whole thing and then learn, have the possibility for the next level of integration.
Mm-hmm. And if someone is listening to us right now and is thinking, what is this inner leadership gym? What would you tell them? What is actually, how does it look like in practice? And why should they sign up?
Mm. I mean, in practice, it's space and time for practice. So we're going to have 8 weeks with weekly meetings with the group. It's a group of only 15 people. That's the format. And we will explore particular frameworks and tools and methodologies with which we gain self-awareness. And then with that, practice by ourselves, but also with the rest of the group. It's a facilitated space and time. You and I will facilitate it. Chrissy and Rossy will facilitate it. And I think what like and what I'm eager to share with the group that will join, please join, is our desire to share what we have experienced and what we know, and to create the space for the others, because I think this is something that brings us together in that, like, real desire to put that out there for more people. So it's not
Mhm.
just us who benefit from it.
Yeah, because I think going to Chaos Krona, like the experience is it's great, but it also takes a big commitment and investment because it's 10 months in a very small town in Sweden. Not that that's bad. I loved it, but sometimes I did feel like I'm in a monastery in the end of the world. Like it's really strange. You know, it's only 2 hours or 3 hours away from Copenhagen, from civilization, but it feels very uncivilized in a way, in a good way. So I'm also curious if we're able to create this environment for other people that they're able to taste this uncivilized space for restoration of
Yeah.
self.
And
Yeah.
building of self also.
Mm.
Restoration, building, exploration as well.
Yeah, actually, I was again another quote I was reading before that found me. It's by Joseph Campbell. I don't know. He's the creator of the hero's journey. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah.
And he was saying, the goal of life is to make your heartbeat match the beat of the universe, to match your nature with nature.
Mm,
And I thought that's a nice also metaphor of what we are trying to create, so that people get to know their heart frequency, and then it's so much more pleasurable and joyful and to live an authentic life. uh, yeah, so let's see how it goes. The doors of the gym are open. That's why I'm wearing my gym clothes today. And Rossy has an experience as an aerobic teacher, so I'm fully trusting her on the being strict and pushing us beyond our limits, including me. And yeah, let's see how it's gonna go. And if you could say, what is your wish for the world for 2026? Like now we spoke a bit about you, but because systemic change has this link between self and the collective, what do you say you hope for the world for the next year?
I think it's my big dream, getting closer to that big dream of mine, where everyone is a little bit more closer to themselves and acting out of love and with the intention of relationship with the people around them. So a little bit more soul centric, as Bill Plotkin would say,
Mm,
egocentric.
yeah.
This
Oh,
one step closer.
yeah, but of course, change starts from us. So the fact that we initiated this and that we're gonna do this, I think that's the best we can ask. There's so many people out there in the world. Clearly, we'll not be able to reach all of them, but I do think believe in these islands of coherence in which we can expand and eventually we can reach a tipping point. So, and there's a generational, like, I think newer generations are more easily getting into that vibe.
Mm. Yeah.
Looking at your daughter, also knowing her, and many young people, I think these days are more quicker to think in intersectionality in systems and and because they also don't have a choice because the world is changing. So okay, well, I suggest we leave it here, and I hope you enjoyed this conversation between the two of us. And if you want to hear our voices more, we'll put in the notes our offerings. And yeah, wish to everyone very soul centric New Year and happy holidays and everything, whatever you're gonna do in a break. And yeah, thank you so much for being here, Rossy.
Thank you very much for inviting me, Chris. It's always a pleasure to have a conversation with you, and I plus one to all the wishes for kind of warm and cozy holidays and real recharge and kind of welcoming the new year with uh, ready, ready.
Yeah. And tomorrow is winter solstice, so it's even now is the time, the darkest days of the year are here, the time for putting the seeds for what's gonna come. So may our wishes be heard. Thank
And
you.
thank you. Have a lovely holiday season.
Thank you.